which is the idea of de-escalating the Vietnam War, which he did not do. He lied to the U.S. public, and what he did is he started the mass bombing of the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Cambodia and Laos.
And then when that news that we were bombing more countries, it's like, nah, ain't no way.
Yeah, hey, Mom. Yeah, it pissed off a lot of people.
But who knows if we continued? Who knows if we actually would have won the war or not, or if it'd be like similar to the Middle East, where it would have caused a lot of insurgency.
What I heard from sources and shit, from like people who talk like North Korean government stuff like that, if we did it for an extra month, we would have broken them probably.
Really?
For 30 more days, it would probably change the tide of a war. But you gotta think, you're bombing another country. You're bombing a sovereign country that is neutral in the conflict.
Yeah. But also, but I thought that Laos and Cambodia were fine with it, because I feel like if they weren't fine with it, they would have immediately.
Laos and Cambodia. I'm pretty sure that they were technically under communist rule and they didn't want to be. However, they didn't have
the means,
the formal enough military to actually help. I mean, they had civilians, but I guess they didn't want to. I guess they didn't think it was worth it.
I think they had backlash because, you know, the United States was bombing them, and it wasn't like, oh, we hit the border of Vietnam and it just...
Nah, we
were bombing straight into Laos and Cambodia.
Yeah, because we knew they were bringing trucks and shit through there. Yeah, it is crazy to hear stories about Vietnam. If you really want to have a day where you just deep dive into shit, I recommend watching, because they're online, they're on an online archive. Watch the videos of Medal of Honor recipients, them describing their stories. Crazy. I remember this one. It was a raid where they had at night got completely surrounded by Viet Cong, and this guy, he's a private in the military, right? And what happens is he's getting surrounded. His one officer is like, or everyone's trying to consolidate their forces, whatever. Goes onto an artillery piece because I think he's heavy artillery. He brings the barrel down towards the wood and starts shooting grape shot towards it. Which you know what grape shot is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he starts firing it into the wood. This guy's getting shot and he's doing this. And he just kept directing fire. He actually, I think he was trying to get their attention by doing it too, so it would take it off. And the only reason I think that they held out that long was because of stuff like that, and also, you know, Spooky. If you know about Spooky, because Spooky's actually, even though it's fucking weird, because Spooky is just one plane, but it's like I think the most popular plane or most popular aircraft from Vietnam.
Okay, I don't know about this then.
Spooky is an AC-130.
Woo, we love AC-130s!
Or it was like the predecessor to it, but it was a gunship.
Okay.
So it would get called for air support, and what it would do, when it would come over, it would just rain hell for like 5 or 10 minutes and leave.
That's badass.
And a lot of the times, the Viet Cong would see it and they would run away.
I would run away too.
Because first off, there's no way you can target it. And secondly, that thing is gonna go for a while, and if you're in the open, it's shooting at you. It's the type of thing of, we're over here, they're over there, they will shoot whatever moves over there. So even if it's friendly, they're gonna shoot at us.
So it kind of sounds like, so basically they made a demilitarized zone of if you're in there, you're gone.
Yeah, I'll search it up if you're ever interested. Search up Spooky Vietnam War, and it should pull up. There's a lot of interesting stories. Like there's the story from World War II. You ever hear of the Night Witches?
Yeah, the Russian women that didn't even they didn't want to give money for their planes, so they made them out of cloth or tapestry or whatever.
And it scared the Germans so much on the Eastern Front that they got the name Night Witches, because when they swooped down for a dive, it sounded like a witch's broom.
Which is also badass, I must say, dude.
Yeah, or there's even the one story you ever hear about the T-34 named Rudy?
About the what?
It was a T-34, it was a medium tank, and it was called Rudy.
Okay.
Husband was a tank commander. He died, or some shit like that. This wife gets so pissed off that she wants to take revenge, so she goes into the military, demands to join, and then becomes a commander for a T-34.
That's badass.
And it was all like the idea that all of it was like I think it was named after her dog, so it had like paw prints on the side, and its name was Rudy and shit like that.
See, that right there is a great. That's like great patriot like propaganda, being like, this is like we're taking like our men, and then the women are now stepping up to join the army.
Oh yeah. That's where, like, it's weird because World War II in Russia, or in Soviet Union at least, not Russia, I don't know about Russia, it's not called World War II in the eyes of the government.
Do you know what it's called?
Weird. It's weird to think that, right? It's called the Great Patriotic War.
I beat tier, Jake. I beat tier.
Ooh. I'm not
I
surprised.
was low.
That's called the Great. I mean, it definitely was a great patriotic war. I can't deny that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's crazy to think. There's a lot of stories. There's one story I forgot. I don't know the guy's name, but he was a demolitionist. I'm pretty sure what he did, he was a combat engineer. I think he parachuted in behind enemy lines on D-Days to put down munitions to cause distraction and destroy essential infrastructure. He does this, he gets caught, he gets sent to a concentration camp on the near the eastern front, like in Poland. The Soviets start attacking. Because the Germans are scrambling, he breaks out of the camp, runs into the Soviet line, somehow gets to the nearest Soviet troops being overheard from the Germans where they were coming from. Goes to the commander, cannot speak, like, there's only one person who can speak a very little bit of English, and the guy requests that they give him demolition charges and shit like that, and he can join them.
They joined the Red Army.
Yeah, so he was like a part of it until they connected with U.S. troops.
Like it was such a terrible time in history, but it's also so fucking cool.
Yeah, they fucking romanticize all this shit. They make war seem so cool and shit like that.
But it's actually so fucked.
Did you forget that like 600,000 men died in the encirclement of Stalingrad? And that's just the encirclement of it, and the siege of it. But not including the fighting. That's a fuck. That's what this. Oh no. This should have. Oh, the cat's word. No. What are you doing, buddy? Why'd you grab my sneaker?
I'm done working out off the floor, so now it's like.
Oh, I'll flip him over. Ready to go. And there's Jess.
What's going on, Jespy?
Need a little goober. Look at his eyes. His spot disappeared. Oh, right on his pelvis, where it was his spot going. Yeah, it's gone now. Hi, Bubba. You're so cute. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stories from both of the wars, because a lot of it is what's it called. Even though it is a terrible human conflict, it shows human resolution, human resolve, and human ingenuity.
Yep.
Like,
because there are always arms races.
oh yeah, it's who can discover new technology first. If you want to hear something really interesting, I actually saw it a few days ago. It was official recordings of radio transmissions from U.S. Planes and pilots when they saw the first German jet fighter, the Messerschmitt 252.
Oh, I'm sure they were like, "What the fuck is that?"
I think the one guy was like, "What the hell was that thing?" Its passive like weren't even moving. And then it was a call from command saying to land all planes. They had no clue what it was.
That gave me chills.
You gotta think though, dude. Like that thing was huge. You know what I mean? Jet fighters. It's amazing how much of the shit that's gotten comes from war. Jet fighters. There's some really fucked up shit that we get from war too, like the use of fluoride as a dental aid, but was actually used to fucking sterilize people. I'm pretty sure the sterilizer. I don't want to use an eye club. Yeah. Then there's stories that you've never heard of. Have you ever hear of Unit 762?
No, I don't think so.
You don't really want to hear about it. Let's say this: all the scientists there would have been executed for war crimes if they did not surrender their evidence to the United States government or their research.
Sounds about right.
We're talking, like, to put them simply, they would, I remember one thing they did was they cut open two people's stomachs and then sewed their intestines together and would see how long they would live.
That does sound like... And you said this was in the U.S.?
No, this was in
they were Germans.
China. In China. The Japanese were doing this.
Oh, the Japanese were doing it? Shit, I thought that
Yeah,
was...
because the
Nazi
Japanese
shit.
didn't view Chinese people as people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, feudal Japan was on some shit, dude.
Dude, it's fucking so stupid that if you had two samurai who would walk down the street at the same time as each other, because so before, right, they didn't have laws, so like you could walk, like one samurai would go like this way, the other one would go this way. If their sword sheaths hit, it would cause a fight, and they would actually fight to the death because it's like dishonor or whatever, right? So they made it where all samurais had to be right-handed, right? And they had to make it where all samurais had to walk on the left side of the road instead of the right side of the road.
To reduce
prevent
conflict.
Yeah, to reduce conflict and to change like the social status of samurais. You know, you guys go over here. You don't go with the normal people because you could accidentally kill each other. So, the type of thing that you hit my sheath, you directly attacked my honor. I have to kill you now, or like name you. You know, because it wasn't like anyone said, "Oh, sorry." It's no, like you disrespected my whole lineage down to like my great grandfather by doing that.
Yep.
But
Weird shit, man.
yeah.
Japan type beat.
But then you have stuff like this. If you ever Operation Paperclip, have you ever heard of that one? That's That's the government. That's the U.S. government.
No, I've not heard of Operation Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip, essentially what we did is we told all these German scientists that we would not charge them with war crimes.
If they joined the U.S.
Yep, and they started and they gave us our research and started working for us, and
Yeah.
that's probably the reason why we went to the moon. Many of the scientists got involved in the military. They got involved in aerospace, especially NASA. I think the foundation of NASA actually began with a majority of Nazi scientists. Which
I think that
they're
sounds
not,
right.
they're not
Good
necessarily
VA.
Nazis. They're German, but you know what I mean? But a lot of them had Nazi
But
vibes.
they were Nazi German. They're scientists from Nazi Germany.
Yeah, they were guilty
But
by
not-
association.
Yeah.
That's where you see a lot from like World War II was the Wehrmacht. They were German. They weren't Nazis. The SS were Nazis.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, everyone was a Nazi when Hitler was doing good shit. Once he started not, then they didn't like him anymore. Then he's like, we're German, we're not Nazis. And that's where nowadays you can't show, they don't show swastikas in their school books.
Yeah.
Which I think is so strange. There, the amount of censorship for education like that, I think is actually insane. Like I can understand like being like, okay, we're not gonna show, young kids like dead bodies. Like I like I don't blame or like mass graves, right? But it's like by the time you're in middle school or high school, like if you're gonna be learning about world history and like the terrible shit that happened, you have to kids need to know that it's not just, oh, we're saying it to scare you. It's like here's a photo of a mass grave, right? It's like this is real shit that happened. Like
a lot of times you don't do that because it causes controversy.
Yeah, but I mean, like when we like on 9/11, when we watch like videos about 9/11 and about like people being like remembering it, right? Like they show like I know in our school, like one video I watched in my history class, like it showed people just literally jumping off the building, right? It's like yeah, it's like if you have the will to show that, because it's like American history and like a thing of like this is stuff that happens, like that should be given the same level of respect for everything, where it's like it's fucked up, people die, and it creates a lot more death in the long term, but you need to know to reduce its chance from happening. Well,
it's all the details and how the details come to the surface, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you hear about a traumatic event, it all depends on the circumstances that it actually became traumatic with.
True.
9/11, we do that because it was a tragedy that we didn't cause, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a chance we did cause it, but...
Well, we did a lot of
hero
fuckery in the
there.
Middle East, so it probably did come back to haunt us.
Yeah, then you look at like JFK assassination. The CIA was involved in that 100%.
Apparently the CIA was also involved in the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yep, they were.
Which I didn't know.
Yeah. They're involved. The CIA works essentially independent from the U.S. government. Most likely there's something from the CIA or Homeland Security reporting on my phone right now, you know what I mean?
Hello, CIA agent.
Because the Homeland Security and CIA have completely overstepped their bounds. The only thing that's been really policed is the FBI, and the FBI, if left up to their own devices, would be like CIA. You gotta think too. Before the Kennedy assassination, he said because of what happened with the Bay of Pigs invasion, how it was a failure, he said he's gonna come into the CIA and destroy the place from within.
Who said that?
Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't like him doing that.
They did not like that.
Because they thought he was overstepping his boundary by attacking their freedom.
Oh, they were afraid of Kennedy. Kennedy was the president of the people. And that's where there's a second angle, a second recording of him coming down the street and him getting shot after the court case. That and other evidence that proved that there was multiple shooters instead of Lee Harvey Oswald all disappeared. And you know whose locker it was? Evidence locker it was in? The CIA's. And it just all magically disappeared. We have no clue where it went. Oh, we're not gonna look for it. Like, come on. There's witness accounts describing there was 2 shots. There's eyewitness accounts showing that right before Kennedy got shot, there was a guy in a suit who had a briefcase, or it was a guy in a suit who was wearing glasses. He was doing that stuff, and all of a sudden he opens an umbrella. First shot, he immediately rings out. After everything's done, everyone's panicking. The guy slowly closes his umbrella and walks away. And it's not like, oh, hearsay. This is multiple witnesses saying this.
Have you guys watched the Let Me Know video about the book depository? Where it's an hour and 40 minutes about the JFK assassination, about all like the conflicting information about who was there, different eyewitness testimonies, where Lee Harvey Oswald was, how he got access to the weapon he did, all that type of shit, right? Hour and 40 minutes.
Nobody could stop fast enough. There's no way. bolt-action Italian rifle used in World War II. There's no way he could have shot faster.
Listen, girl. All I'm saying is that he definitely had double tap. That's all I'm saying. He needed that fire rate increase.
Wait, Wilma?
Alright, Thomas wants to play Turkey, so I'm gonna go join General.
Oh, Jackie? Yeah, Jackie was trying to pick up his yeah. And they actually say that, what's that called? Yeah, because he was the president of the people. He wanted people to see him. But if you notice what happened with it, right? Jackie, when Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in, was still wearing all of her bloody clothes and shit like that. Oh no, it was during the funeral. Because she wanted because there were so many CIA agents there. She said, "I want the people who done this to see the effect they had on others."
Well, they said the government went after JFK Jr. next month because they were afraid of him.
JFK Jr. would have been the next president, in my opinion.
Yeah.
JFK Jr. You know about JFK Jr., right, Jake?
I don't think so.
So JFK Jr., his brother, super charismatic. He was a senator, I'm pretty sure, or he was some sort of advocate or diplomat, whatever.
Okay.
This guy, huge into civil rights programs.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves equal rights, stuff like that. All this shit. He was super popular. This guy actually had a really good chance to be someone who was very influential in the country, like all the other Kennedys.
Yeah.
Magically, he dies too.
So you tell me it's an inside job.
You're telling me all the Kennedys, all the sons, all died like that? Plane crash, shot in the head. You know what I mean? All this shit. There's too many inconsistencies.
Nah, Josh, you're just looking too deep into it.
Like, look at this. Are you gonna trust the people who say this should happen, or are you gonna trust the organization that literally had a program on how much LSD can we give this guy until we can break his brain, break his mind? You know what I mean? Like, you can't
I'm
act
choosing
like
to
MK
remain
Ultra
silent.
isn't a thing. MK Ultra is a fucking thing. This is fucking people who tried to train a cat to become a spy. They had two Russian diplomats, or two people were talking that were of high class and he had to talk to. They released the cat from across the road. We spent, I think, like $2 to $8 million on this project, right? Gave his cat surgery, shit like that. He crossed the road, he gets hit by a car.
That does sound like something that that deserves to happen for trying to turn a cat into a spy.
Yeah, he gets hit by a fucking car. And things are death. It's like the I think it's the Germans or the Russians. I forgot which one. They train dogs. They strap them with explosives, and they train them to run under tanks. Problem is, training and actual combat are two different things.
Yeah.
What would happen is it would be during combat, the dogs would get scared and they'd run back to their owners, which was their the people in their line. They explode the line.
Oh.
Hell, there was a Soviet, they tried to make a cat bomb. So they tried to because cats always lay on their feet, so they thought that a cat, if they put it somehow in a bomb, that it could auto-correct the thing so it wouldn't fall over improperly. They tried that for a surprisingly long time, and I think you can tell me how well that went.
It worked flawlessly, and there should be cat bombs.
Yeah. That's
Josh, you know how, like you said, cats always land on their feet. And you know how when you butter toast, it always lands on the butter side down? if you put a piece of buttered toast on top of a cat, which will it create infinite energy because neither the toast nor the cat will land on the ground.
So that's what they're talking about with that machine where what's the machine they say where it's impossible because it can't reuse energy?
Perpetual motion.
That's a perpetual motion machine.
It is.
Charge a battery with that bad boy.
So the reason you can't have perpetual motion is because the law of so the energy there has to be energy loss in the system, like it's mainly through heat because of friction.
Yeah, it's friction. Either way, any of the natural forces in nature will slow something down, acceleration-wise. You know what I mean? Well, you know, that's what you're fucking talking about, you know. But yeah, like, have you seen that stuff actually recently? The science that's been happening with the Hydrox collider?
What happened with massive?
Or the particle colliders? We found out that they built them. They built, you know, those huge colliders where they slam particles to each other.
Yeah, like the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland.
Yep. So they found out that, first off, there's not really any more elements to discover, and secondly, the colliders don't work the way that they actually thought they were going to.
Okay.
So now they're going to the blackboard to see how they can fix them or how they can utilize them to target new issues, because they don't work the same way as was theoretically thought. And then one thought about really recently, did you hear what Porsche's doing with biocarbon?
No. What's the Porsche doing?
Porsche has made the first gallon or liter, whatever the fuck how they do it over there, completely renewable fuel, like gasoline, renewable gasoline, completely fucking no pollution, no taken out of the earth. They completely derived it from elements by so it had biocarbon, right? So there was a bunch of these elements, they plucked them out of the air or some stupid shit, put them into this substance, and made a gallon of gas.
That's pretty sick.
This gallon of gas cost them $300,000 to produce.
Well, I'm sure also how efficient is it compared to gasoline? That's also important.
The biggest thing is this: if they can get cheaper, fossil fuel is going to change. Now we're not going to use fossil fuels. We're going to use that just renewable.
Yeah.
It technically is a fossil fuel still because it's literally lab-made gasoline.
Yeah.
And we would still use it, but
I would probably have the same level of carbon emission, I would imagine.
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But it's the idea now that we don't have to use all the shit to mine for it and that gets rid of it.
Yeah, that removes a ton of cost.
Yeah. But it's just very expensive. But it will take time to improve. But it's still really cool. Yeah, I think so, right? I think it's the 15th largest cargo ship in the world produce more pollution than every single car on the planet combined.
Yeah.
15! Like, it's crazy. But that's just the world we live in because, you gotta think, we don't think of it in the grand scheme of things. But, all transportation, all the goods we get, all stem from, cargo ships. We think that truck drivers are important and stuff like that. They are important, you know what I mean? They are a part of the transportation system of goods. But those ships are actually the most important thing. Remember when everything got super expensive because that one ship blocked the fucking Suez Canal?
Yep.
Yeah, remember how silicone, all these things went up in price?
Yeah, the cost of silicon, oh.
I know silicon was a different factor, but then on top of that, it fucked things up. And yeah, one thing blocked it, and it fucked the whole thing up. Yeah.
But isn't that crazy how fragile society is then, where it's like literally, like how the cost of things if we didn't have the Suez Canal, like if it's like someone nuked the Suez Canal or something, right? Where it's like it's actually unusable, let's say. Nuking doesn't really make sense because it would just make it bigger. But let's say the Suez Canal like let's say like Panama is like, no, we're getting rid of it. We're just getting rid of it, right? And it's like, even though it goes against literally all foreign interests and probably Panamanian, I don't know what word you use for, but even probably against Panama's interest in terms of the economy. But let's say they did, right? Then it's like that, yeah. So that would, the way that would change everything would actually be insane, and it's just a little strait in Panama.
It's literally 2 miles wide or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Or it's like a mile and a half wide, you know what I mean? And that's literally the artery to the world. The biggest thing is this: if you saw something like that happen, where both canals completely closed, there's 2 things that are going to happen. A, they're going to try to make a new, or 3 things. A, they're going to try to make a new one.
Yep.
2, there's a, fuck it, we're going all the way around Africa. We're going to go around the Horn of Africa. We're going to go like it's fucking 1700s or 1800s. We're going to go through the Cape of New Hope. And we're going to get the shit done. Or you're going to see a scramble into aerospace and aeronautics and planes, using planes as a primary form of transporting goods.
The last thing would be like an absurd amount of political pressure for them to fix the shit they destroyed.
It would be the type of thing of whoever bombed the Panama Canal, yeah, the whole entire world is at war with you.
Is literally against you.
You fucked with everyone's stuff.
And people do not like when you fuck with everyone's stuff.
Yeah. No, maybe apart from China. China makes their own shit, so maybe they're fine. That's what I wonder. Apart from vehicles and stuff like that, does China actually import goods from any countries?
The U.S.
Oh,
We are China's biggest importer and exporter, and China is our biggest importer and exporter.
Yeah, it's weird how it loops, right?
Yeah.
That's what I found was interesting. I remember I was reading something about fiscal policy, right, in the 80s. In the 80s, right, the biggest thing with it was the U.S. dollar got too strong. Now,
Like it was valued too
right?
highly.
Yeah, it was valued too highly, which meant that we had a lot of purchasing power, right? Which means that we could go to, say, for example, Canada, and we'll go buy shit from them, and we can import and get, like, we making deals importing. Now, the biggest problem, though, is when someone wants to, well, even when we export, you know what I mean? Whatever we do with our currency, albeit imported, exported, and buying with our money, is super strong, and everyone in the country was able to do it, right? But now you go to the outside of that, and let's say let's say France wants to import something, right? It's so expensive because the currency is so strong. So therefore, people aren't going to import any goods. They're not going to export any because now they're going to have to pay for all the tariffs and shit like that, and the currency's strong again, so that means that it's going to cost a lot. And the biggest thing is there's going to be no financial investment from foreign currencies. Because it's too strong and their money's not worth anything. That's why if you look actually with investing, you want the country to be in a high period of inflation if you're an investor. Because, you know, your money goes up, obviously, right?
Yeah.
If you deflate, it becomes more valuable, but you have less of it. So that's why whenever you invest, it's just simple, you want a higher interest rate. So what happens, the U.S. government goes around, talks to like countries like Switzerland, Denmark, stuff like that, people who are really good with financials, and they're like, hey, we need to not artificially, we need to literally bring our currency down using artificial methods in order to keep our currency from being too strong and letting it, and you know, therefore allow it to be approachable for foreign investment. So we fucking brought up, I think it brought up inflation, shit like that, made the currency worth less money in order to encourage foreign investment. Like, ain't that fucking wild?
That is wild.
That we literally, you think a strong dollar is a good dollar, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's the opposite. Strong dollar's bad. It's good for the individual, bad for the country. Which is a wild concept because you think, you know.
You
Because
would
everyone
think that
thinks,
you would want your dollar to be as valuable as possible.
yeah, you think a valuable dollar indicates about a very
All right,
well-off.
I need to be back. Oh, I did not think that his posture was going to break like that. I'm going to turn off music.
参る。やっ。やっ。やっ。シュラ。
再び修羅を切るだろうとはな。まだじゃ、セキロ。
Let's go! I just got Shura sword, only no skills. Let's go! Oh. Let's fucking go, dude. Is this Sekiro? And I just got my run down here. Let's fucking go, dude.